Far beyond the familiar stars of the Milky Way, deep in the vast darkness of space, an enormous fleet moved with silent grace toward the tiny blue planet called Earth. These were no ordinary ships. They were warships the size of cities, their hulls shimmering with strange metals unknown to human science, and their engines glowing with power that could light up entire solar systems. The Galactic Council, a powerful group made up of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, had finally turned its attention to humanity. For centuries they had watched from afar, studying the Earth's signals and the broadcasts that traveled across space. To the Council, humans were just another primitive species, unorganized, chaotic, and easy to control. This fleet was sent as an emissary, a test, and a warning all in one. Their mission was simple: evaluate the humans, and, if necessary, bring them under the Council's rule before they could cause trouble in the galactic neighborhood. The commanders of the fleet were proud, confident, and sure of victory. They had conquered countless worlds, their technology far beyond anything humans had, and their armies trained to eliminate resistance quickly and efficiently. As they crossed the boundary of the solar system, their sensors scanned Earth eagerly, expecting to find signs of weakness, fear, and primitive weapons easily crushed beneath their might. But what they found confused them deeply. Instead of a terrified species hiding behind fragile weapons, the sensors picked up something else. Human broadcasts filled with strange sounds and laughter, jokes and songs, messages that carried hope and stubborn defiance. It was as if the people of Earth were saying, "We know you're coming, and we're ready." This baffled the fleet's commanders. What kind of species laughed in the face of such overwhelming power? Was it madness or some strange form of strength? The alien ships hovered silently as more signals poured in. Humans were not just sending calls for help or warnings. They were broadcasting stories of resilience, humor, and a fierce desire to live freely. The fleet's leadership gathered in the command bridge, their faces a mix of curiosity and disbelief. One senior commander tapped a screen, replaying a human comedy show where people made fun of the very idea of alien invaders. Another showed a broadcast of a young human who joked about alien technology being overcomplicated. The aliens could not understand how a species so new and fragile could display such boldness. They expected fear, but they received laughter. The fleet's scientists worked overtime trying to analyze this strange behavior. Was it a form of communication, a defense mechanism, or a sign of dangerous unpredictability? The Council had warned, its fleet's about unpredictable species, labeling them as potential threats that could disrupt the fragile peace of the galaxy. But this was different. The humans were not hiding or begging. They were openly challenging the arrival of the fleet with humor and confidence. Tension grew among the commanders. They debated whether to proceed with caution or launch an immediate show of force. The humans had no visible weapons that could match the fleet's power, but their spirits were unbroken. The alien fleet decided to move closer to Earth, hoping to show their strength and force submission. Yet every step toward the planet brought more broadcasts filled with cheerful defiance, jokes about alien customs, and even cartoons making fun of the fleet's intimidating ships. The humans seemed almost to mock their presence, showing no signs of fear or panic. For the first time in many years, the fleet's leaders began to question their mission. Was this species truly so weak, or was there something else hidden beneath their laughter? The tension between curiosity and caution grew, setting the stage for a confrontation unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. On Earth, ordinary people went about their lives unaware of the massive fleet waiting in the shadows, listening in on their jokes and songs. They celebrated their humor as a way to cope with the unknown, never imagining that their laughter would one day meet the cold metal faces of the Galactic fleet. As the alien ships moved into position, the quiet calm of the solar system was shattered not by weapons, but by a broadcast that echoed across the void. A simple human joke sent boldly into the stars. It was a message that would change everything, and no one, not even the mighty Galactic Council, was prepared for what came next. The Galactic fleet, confident in their power and technology, decided it was time to make first contact with the humans. They sent a message, a formal greeting filled with commands to surrender and promises of mercy if the humans complied. The alien commanders expected an immediate reaction of fear or panic, a quick and humble acceptance of their superior force. But the response that came back was unlike anything they had prepared for. Instead of trembling voices or desperate pleas, the humans answered with jokes, witty remarks, and playful challenges. The transmissions were filled with humor that was sharp and sometimes teasing. Some broadcasts made fun of the fleet's huge ships, calling them space tubs or overgrown metal fish, while others joked about how the aliens must have terrible taste in starship design. The alien commanders sat in stunned silence as their screens displayed humans laughing and making light of what should have been a terrifying moment. At first they thought it was some kind of trick or deception, a way to confuse and distract them. Maybe these humans were too foolish to understand the situation, or perhaps they were mad. The idea of facing a species that laughed at threats and warnings was deeply unsettling. As the fleet's ambassadors prepared to show strength and assert control, they found that the humans were not only unafraid, but also eager to engage in back-and-forth banter. Instead of seeing themselves as small and powerless, humans acted with a boldness that defied all galactic conventions. During the first meeting, when the alien fleet sent a demand for immediate surrender, the humans responded with a message that included a humorous poem and a challenge to a space duel using old Earth video games. The alien commanders, who had dealt with countless species who either begged for mercy or mounted desperate defenses, were unsure how to react. Attempts to maintain order and discipline among the fleet became difficult as some officers struggled to hide their amusement. One high-ranking officer even questioned if this was a deliberate test or a strange form of communication the humans had developed to confuse enemies. The humans continued to push boundaries, making light of the fleet's intimidating size and advanced weapons. They sent images showing Earth's children dressed up as aliens for fun, mimicking the fleet's movements and mocking their serious faces. In one message, humans joked about the aliens needing bigger hats to fit their huge heads. The more the aliens tried to project strength, the more the humans laughed and teased. This attitude created a growing sense of confusion among the fleet commanders. What were they dealing with? A species so fearless and unafraid that they would laugh in the face of overwhelming power? Was it courage or recklessness? The alien psychologists began to study human behavior more closely, trying to understand if this humor was a sign of hidden danger or simple foolishness. Some commanders believed humans were mad, incapable of understanding the consequences of their actions, while others suspected that this humor was a form of strength, a way to confuse and disarm their opponents. When the fleet sent a message showing a demonstration of their weaponry and firepower, expecting to intimidate the humans into submission, the humans responded with a broadcast of a comedy show where people pretended to shoot lasers with water guns and made jokes about the aliens' fancy weapons being flashy but useless. The aliens found themselves in a strange situation. Threats that should cause panic were met with laughter and mockery. The tension on the fleet's bridge increased as commanders debated what to do next. Some wanted to use force to end this nonsense quickly, while others argued for patience, hoping to learn more about this baffling species. A human diplomat finally arranged for a direct communication link, offering a formal invitation to discuss terms, only the tone was light-hearted and full of jokes. When the alien ambassadors accepted and appeared on a human communication screen, they found themselves greeted not with fear, but with smiles and laughter. The humans asked about the aliens' hairstyles, joked about their uniforms, and even offered virtual tours of Earth's funniest places. The aliens were taken aback by this casual, almost irreverent attitude toward what should have been a serious meeting. The humans laughed off the fleet's attempts to show dominance, teasing them gently but firmly. This unexpected reaction challenged every assumption the Galactic Council had about how species reacted to threats. The alien fleet's commanders began to doubt their own plans. What if humanity's laughter was a shield, a weapon far stronger than lasers and shields? What if this irreverence was a sign of a deep confidence born from unity and resilience? Suspicion mixed with curiosity as the aliens realized that their first contact with humans was nothing like any other. They were no longer facing a species that would bow or break under pressure. Instead, they encountered beings who faced the unknown with humor, courage, and an unshakable spirit. The tension between the fleets softened just a little, replaced by a cautious respect. The humans had made it clear they were not afraid. They would not be subdued by threats or power. And as the Galactic fleet prepared for what might come next, they knew that this encounter would rewrite the rules of engagement in the galaxy. No one could predict what the humans would do, but one thing was certain: laughter had become a weapon no one was ready for. The Galactic fleet, confident in their power, began a series of tests and demonstrations designed to intimidate humanity and prove their superiority once and for all. They sent massive warships into Earth's orbit, activated dazzling displays of weaponry, and deployed reconnaissance drones to monitor human responses closely. Their plan was clear: show humans the vast difference in technology and strength, force them to submit quietly, and bring Earth under galactic control without a fight. Yet the humans did something unexpected. Rather than cowering or panicking, they responded with resilience and creativity that caught the fleet completely off guard. Instead of high-tech weaponry or overwhelming firepower, humans used what appeared to be simple, almost primitive tools. Everyday objects, gadgets, and clever machines that defied alien expectations. Small teams of humans operated with precision and unpredictability, finding ways to outmaneuver the fleet's drones and security systems. Their tactics were unconventional, relying on teamwork, humor, and quick thinking rather than brute force. One example was the famous human flash mob, where large groups suddenly gathered to distract and confuse the fleet's surveillance systems by creating chaotic, yet synchronized movements and noises. The aliens had never seen anything like it and struggled to adapt their technology to counter such a strange but effective tactic. The Galactic fleet's commanders increased their efforts, arranging large-scale drills that showed off their power: massive energy blasts, coordinated ship formations, and loud warnings broadcast across multiple frequencies. Yet the humans answered not with fear, but with humor and teamwork. Videos of humans mimicking the fleet's drills went viral on Earth and quickly spread back to the alien fleet. In one particularly famous video, a group of children used water balloons to reenact an alien ship battle, laughing as the balloons popped and splashed harmlessly. These broadcasts puzzled the fleet's leaders. What kind of species made jokes in the middle of a possible invasion? The aliens realized that humans did not see these displays as threats but as challenges to be met with their own spirit. The fleet's advanced technology seemed almost rigid compared to the flexible, creative approaches of humans. Then came the moment that changed everything. A viral human meme was sent into space, reaching the fleet's communication channels unexpectedly. The meme was simple but powerful: a smiling human holding a sign that said, "Nice try, but you'll have to do better than that." This single image sparked curiosity rather than fear. The fleet's commanders debated its meaning. Was it mockery? Defiance? A new form of communication? It was clear, however, that humanity's strength was not just in weapons or ships, but in their spirit, an unbreakable will to adapt, laugh, and work together. Alien psychologists studied human behavior, fascinated by their ability to turn fear into humor, confusion into cleverness, and challenges into opportunities. The Galactic Council began to understand that humans brought something unique to the galaxy, a combination of resilience and adaptability that technology alone could not match. The fleet's officers learned to respect the human capacity to innovate and cooperate, often under pressure and with limited resources. The humans' unpredictability frustrated the fleet's carefully planned operations, making it harder to maintain control or predict their next move. Even when faced with overwhelming force, humans found ways to disrupt and evade, sometimes with nothing more than simple tools and quick thinking. Their teamwork was remarkable. Humans communicated rapidly, shared information openly, and trusted each other in ways unfamiliar to the more hierarchical and rigid alien fleets. This unexpected strength unsettled the Galactic fleet's commanders, who had grown used to facing enemies who relied on power alone. Now they were up against a species whose greatest weapon was their unshakable spirit and unity. The aliens realized that conquering humans would not be as simple as firing weapons or issuing commands. The humans' humor, resilience, and ability to turn even a challenge into a game made them unpredictable and dangerous in their own way. The Galactic fleet slowly began to change tactics, attempting to learn from humans rather than only dominate them. They studied human culture, language, and even humor, seeking ways to engage rather than simply intimidate. It became clear that this was more than a mission of conquest. It was the beginning of a new and complex relationship between two very different species. For the humans, their resilience was a source of pride and strength. They faced the massive alien fleet not with despair but with laughter, teamwork, and an unshakable belief that they could overcome any challenge together. As the fleet prepared for what might come next, both humans and aliens realized that this encounter would shape the future of the galaxy in ways no one had imagined. It was a test not just of technology or power, but of spirit, creativity, and the ability to adapt in the face of the unknown. The story of humans and the Galactic fleet had only just begun, and it was clear that the outcome would be unlike any before. Laughter, it seemed, was humanity's greatest strength, and the galaxy was about to learn why. The Galactic Council found itself in an unexpected dilemma. The humans, with their relentless humor and surprising resilience, had forced the powerful coalition to rethink everything they believed about this young species. For generations, the Council had dealt with planets either crushed under their might or peacefully integrated into the galactic order through diplomacy. But humans had broken every mold. In the vast chambers where the Council debated, representatives from countless civilizations argued fiercely about the best course of action. Some factions called for immediate war, insisting that humanity was a threat that must be eliminated before it could grow stronger or disrupt the balance of power. Others argued for continued study, convinced that understanding humans better was the only way to avoid a costly conflict. A smaller but growing group suggested diplomacy, seeing in humanity's humor and spirit a potential ally rather than an enemy. This debate was unlike any before. No one could predict what humans might do next, and no one wanted to underestimate a species that laughed at intimidation and turned danger into jokes. Meanwhile, aboard the flagship of the Galactic fleet, a different kind of interaction was unfolding. Human diplomats and scientists had been invited to meet the Council's leaders, not as prisoners or supplicants, but as guests and teachers. The atmosphere was tense but also strangely lighthearted. Humans shared stories about their history, their culture, and the idea of laughing in the face of danger, a concept that resonated deeply but was difficult for many aliens to fully grasp. The humans explained that humor was not just a way to mock or dismiss threats but a powerful tool to unite, inspire courage, and survive the darkest moments. As the discussions continued, the serious and disciplined fleet commanders found it increasingly difficult to maintain their stern faces. Human jokes and playful comments slipped into conversations, breaking the tension and forcing even the most stoic officials to smile or chuckle quietly. One human ambassador joked about the Council's long faces and suggested they try a galactic grin instead, causing a ripple of laughter that echoed through the chamber. These moments of shared humor became bridges between very different species, opening minds and hearts that had once been closed by suspicion and fear. Several alien factions began to respect humanity not only for their tenacity, but also for their unconventional wisdom. They saw that humans possessed a unique ability to find hope and strength, where others saw only weakness and despair. This quality made the humans unpredictable, but also invaluable as partners in a galaxy filled with unknown dangers. The Council slowly shifted from seeing humans as a problem to be solved to viewing them as an opportunity for growth and change. Proposals were made to include humans in exploratory missions and diplomatic initiatives, recognizing that their fresh perspective and unshakable spirit could enrich the galaxy's efforts to maintain peace and understanding. Yet the path was not without challenges. Some Council members remained wary, warning that humor could mask deeper dangers or recklessness. They urged caution and continued vigilance, reminding others that the humans' laughter could quickly turn to defiance if pushed too far. But even these skeptics could not deny the strange power of human laughter to diffuse tension and build connections. The more time the Council spent with the humans, the more they realized that this meeting was not just about politics or power. It was about learning to coexist with a new form of life that brought something fresh and unpredictable to the cosmic table. The humans, in turn, embraced this opportunity, teaching the council about resilience, adaptability, and the strength found in unity. They shared tales of Earth's history, where humor had helped people survive wars, disasters, and countless hardships. These stories resonated deeply, reminding all present that laughter was a universal language capable of crossing even the vastest differences. As the dialogue continued, the Galactic Fleet commanders found themselves reflecting on their own cultures and beliefs. The humans' presence challenged old ideas about strength and leadership, pushing the fleet to reconsider what it truly meant to be powerful. The council meetings became places of lively exchange, where ancient traditions met fresh ideas, and where the line between seriousness and playfulness blurred. This change was subtle but profound, signaling a new era in galactic relations. Suspense remained, as no one could predict the ultimate outcome of this encounter. Would humanity become a beacon of hope and unity, or would old fears and misunderstandings lead to conflict? The answer was still uncertain, but one thing was clear. The Galactic Council could no longer afford to ignore the laughter and spirit of the humans. Their story had just begun, and it was already rewriting the rules of the galaxy. The final decision rested on the Council's ability to embrace change, to see beyond power and fear, and to recognize the value of a species that met the vast unknown with courage and a smile. After weeks of intense discussions, unexpected laughter, and growing respect, the Galactic Council finally reached a decision that surprised many of its oldest members. Humanity was not a threat to be controlled or destroyed, but a unique and valuable ally who could bring something fresh to the galaxy's complex web of alliances. Earth was officially invited to join the Galactic Coalition, but not as a subordinate or a colony, rather as an equal partner with a voice in the Council's most important decisions. This invitation marked a turning point in galactic history, as a young species that once seemed chaotic and unpredictable was now welcomed to share its ideas, humor, and spirit with civilizations that had long believed in power through order and control. The humans embraced the offer with their characteristic mix of humility and boldness, excited to bring their fresh perspectives to an ancient and sometimes rigid community. They brought with them the strength of laughter, the ability to find light in darkness, and a will to face challenges together rather than alone. The Galactic Fleet, which once loomed like an overwhelming shadow over Earth, transformed into a symbol of partnership and cooperation. Alien commanders who had once doubted human resilience now worked side by side with human leaders, sharing stories and jokes during long strategy meetings. This new alliance was unlike anything the galaxy had seen, a fusion of advanced technology and human creativity, seriousness balanced by humor, and a commitment to face the future united. As diplomatic missions began, the atmosphere shifted from tense formality to something more relaxed and hopeful. In one critical meeting between the Council and a distant species known for their stubbornness, a human ambassador lightened the mood with a well-timed joke that broke the ice and opened doors for negotiation. The joke was simple, about the aliens, oddly shaped ears and a human habit of talking with their hands, but it reminded everyone present that despite their differences, laughter was a common thread that could connect even the most distant worlds. This moment became famous, remembered as the start of a new era where humor and understanding became tools as powerful as diplomacy or weapons. The Galactic Council, once divided and suspicious, began to see the value of humanity's unique spirit. The aliens realized that strength was not only measured by advanced weapons or control over planets, but also by the ability to inspire hope, foster creativity, and build genuine friendships. Earth's inclusion brought new energy to the galaxy's alliances, encouraging other species to rethink their traditions and open their minds to new ways of cooperation. The humans' presence reminded everyone that the universe was a place of endless possibilities, where courage and laughter could change even the darkest moments. The Galactic Fleet, now partners rather than conquerors, prepared for future challenges, with a new sense of unity. Humans and aliens trained together, combining their strengths and learning from each other's cultures. This collaboration promised to make them stronger against any threat that might arise in the vastness of space. For humanity, this journey from being the subject of curiosity and doubt to becoming a respected member of the galactic community was a source of pride and inspiration. It showed that even a young and small species could make a difference through spirit, creativity, and the simple power of laughter. As the story of humanity's place among the stars continued to unfold, it was clear that their greatest weapon was not just their technology or strength, but their ability to laugh, to connect, and to face the unknown with courage and joy. In the end, as the human ambassador stood before the council during one of the first joint missions, he smiled and cracked a joke that lightened the mood in the room, reminding everyone that sometimes a good laugh was exactly what the galaxy needed. That moment sealed humanity's place not only as a member of the Galactic Coalition, but as a beacon of hope and resilience, a species ready to meet the stars, not with fear, but with laughter and strength, ready to write a new chapter in the story of the universe.